Now I'm going to move on to the next thing about creating an object. Okay, to create an object, you need a class. So here we have a class called program. In this case, it doesn't make a lot of sense here, but we can make an object out of the program class. But let's just go back to our car example earlier. Okay, so I'm going to remove all of these. I don't need these anymore for now, okay? And we're going to go with the car example. So back to where we were before in the beginning. So here, that means I'm going to create another class in here. You can create the same class, a lot of classes in the same file if you want to, but it's not recommended because your file will grow, and when that happens, it's not efficient. So usually you put it into a separate file, but you can put here, for example, I can put a class, car class, right? And you can follow the same structure here, the same thing, except it doesn't have a main method because there's only one main method. Okay, you cannot have another method here, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Okay, there's only one entry point to the program. So in the car class, then if you look at our diagram earlier, right? We have like these fields and then these functions down here. Okay, these are fields. Again, when I say fields, if you look at this UML, all these are global variables. Okay, UML does not show local variables, only global variables. That means in the class space and functions. Okay, so back in here, that means in the global space, I will have a string of the VIN number, right? So again, a class is a template. So basically, you just provide the placeholders for these data. So I have a string for that. I have a string. I'm just going to do a few. I'm not going to do all of them. The make string model. I'll just do the year. Well, this will be an integer type. Okay, int year. Okay, so I could have that here. And so now because they are separate classes, okay, this is the main program, I can create an object out of this car class by using this syntax. I'll put instantiation here. So instantiation. So I have car, and we'll use the Mustang as I had before, right? Equals new car. And you use that function there. So it means if you think about this, it's the same as saying string message, right? Is equal to hi. Okay, the same idea, except now the type is going to be a car type and not a string type. So this is a data type. So you can use classes as data type. Okay, it's the same concept, same idea, except it's an object type. So I have a class called a car called Mustang, and then now the Mustang, once that object has been created after this line, followed by the word new, I created a new object called Mustang, and now Mustang has all these 4 fields. But now they're empty, they're blank. Okay, so if I were to create a function, console, let me write this out. So console.write line, oops, write line. I'll just say VIN number, right? And plus, that's concatenator, Mustang dot VIN, and I try to. You can see that it's not visible, right? I can't do it, and the reason why is because these are private. Okay, in order for this to work, you have to change the modifier for these fields to public. So by default, I think they're private. So that's why you can't see it. I'm gonna make this public. When I do that, as you can see, I can access that. It's visible because this is a separate class. They're a separate class. So it has this, again, a encapsulation, right? It's because I created this object out here, I can't just reach out from the main, the program class to the car class and change its data this way if it's set to private. Unless I change to public, then I can change it. Okay, that's the rule. So I can make all of these public so that I can access them for now. Public and public. Okay, so the VIN number is that, and let me copy this 3 times. I'm going to print all those information out. Okay. What happened here? Okay, we'll put a semicolon, semicolon, semicolon. Okay. So the VIN, the make, model, and year. Okay, so this would be like the make. As you can see, it's visible, right? Model and the year. Okay, so if I save this, and let me delete this message and run it, you see that these data have no information. These fields, the VIN number, model, and year. And the year is 0. So by default, their default values are empty strings if you don't assign any values, and numbers or integers will be default to 0. If you're using a Boolean type, then the default values will be false. Okay, if you don't assign any values to them. So now I have an object called Mustang. It exists, but it has no information. Okay, so once you created an object, then you can go and then assign their values. So I could say now Mustang dot VIN number. Okay, I just put 1, 2, 3, A, B, C for now. So you access these fields, as you can see earlier, using the dot notation. Okay, just like up here, right? System dot collections dot generic. That means this is a class of this class of this class. Okay, or it could be a function of this class. So or field of this class object. So VIN number is that Mustang dot make is a Ford, I think, right? Mustang dot model is, I just call it Mustang again. Okay, so the object name is Mustang, but the actual name of the car is Mustang. And then we'll put the year as 1969 or something. It's a number, so we don't put string quotes around it. I mean quotes around it. So now if I save it and run it, you will see that the data are there because now I filled them with those data. Okay. So again, these are called fields or data fields. If I say field, just data fields, that's what they mean. Sometimes also called instance variables. The word instance is a keyword here. Instance because I need to instantiate an object out of this class first before I can use them. Okay? Otherwise I can't just use them. Okay, so you can see how I have a class program here, another class called car here. And usually this is confusing because you're going to add a lot of functions into this main class, main program. So instead of doing this, you will create a new class and then you move this class to that different file. So here I'm going to go and create a new program, a new file over here. The program here is this program here. So I just go and click on the project here, anywhere in here, and just say add new, add, and then new, you can just say class here, shortcut, okay, new class. And it's going to be a class, just like up here. and we'll call this the car class. Just type car and it will add the extension for you automatically. So here's a car class. As you can see, it already adds the stuff that you needed in there, the required stuff. So it has a car, it has an underline here because it's already duplicates. Why? Because you're sharing the same namespace. So this is in the same project, same folder. Okay, so as it is here. So there's already a classical car. That's why it's conflicting with that. But if I change this to like another different namespace, then it's okay. Now these two are completely separate namespace. Even though they're in the same directory here, it's not visible on the other side. Okay, so we'll keep it that. And then I'm going to go and just copy this, what I have over here. I'll cut that one and replace this one. Okay, so if I save this and save this as well, as you can see, everything is back to normal again. Okay, it works because of this namespace here. If it's a different namespace, it won't work. There's way around it, but this is how you would organize your files. So if I run, it's still the same as before. But now I have more control of my classes. If I have a problem with the car class, I'll just go into the file and make the changes or fix the errors there, and vice versa.